Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
The flood coverage continues, but this time along the Freo River. We know earlier today it crested at 13 feet, but now it's fluctuating, essentially going up and back down. The night team's Avery Everett joins us live. Avery, you've been along the Freo all day. How are things looking right now?
Well, John Paul, it's hard to see behind me with just how dark it is out here, but we've been watching the current of the Freo River rip under Highway 90 here in Canipa really for the last 2 hours. And we saw that same fast movement up in Concan earlier today. We spoke to people literally yesterday who were walking across the river, and then this morning they woke up to floodwaters. Parking spots partially underwater Monday night after flooding on the Freo River. Heavy morning rain turned the river into rapids near Concan.
It's kind of wild to see the change in just one night.
The river crested near Concan at 13 feet around 2 p.m. Monday afternoon. The bridge over Highway 127 was closed out of precaution for most of the day, but it reopened around 4:30 because water never crossed over it. Eric Whatgrove has lived here for 8 years and was heading home after work when he ran into the closure.
We've had probably 3 floods in that time. I would say this is a little bit closer to the bridge than the last few. Usually I take another road, but it's flooded. The river does cross that road.
About 10 miles up the road, a similar scene at Garner State Park. We got access inside and learned overnight campers are the only people allowed to stay here right now. The river here at Garner State Park is rumbling like waves in the ocean. Tree branches and logs are just being completely swallowed here by the Freo. A stark difference to a scene yesterday.
Yesterday was actually the first time in 3 or 4 years that we've been able to actually float the river.
Rebecca Culver and her family come up to Uvalde County almost every summer. She took these photos yesterday showing the river.
We got to do it yesterday and now we're here and it's it's crazy. It's crazy. I wouldn't want to be in there today, that's for sure.
With the water still moving fast Monday night, Uvalde County leaders are urging people overnight to take caution. We've been watching lightning in the distance all night here in Canipa, and I really think that goes to talk about that we've been having conversations with our Adam Caskey. The river level is still fluctuating, and we could very well still see rises, and it even get higher overnight. So it's really important for you to stick with us. Any notifications that you can get about flooding, you can follow us on KSAT.com or even download the KSAT Weather Authority app. Reporting live, I'm Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
We'll keep a close eye on it, and Adam Caskey will have updates soon. Thanks for that, Avery. 97 people missing in Kirk County. That update coming from Governor Greg Abbott late this afternoon. That number considerably lower than the 161 people missing that officials reported on Thursday. And this is where things get a little bit confusing. Abbott did not give an updated number on the death toll in Kirk County, only stating the statewide death toll was now at 131. Looking back at Kirk County, the last time they updated their death toll was Sunday. That number was at 106. When the governor made this announcement, he did briefly touch on the discrepancy. Take a listen.
Those who are missing on this list, most of them, were more difficult to identify because there was no record of them logging in anywhere. And it was through information provided by a friend, a family member, co-worker, whatever the case may be, that they haven't been found.
Again, there has been a large jump in the number of recoveries in Kirk County, according to Governor Abbott. We have reached out to county and state officials about how that's changed the death toll there, but have not heard back yet. As we get more information and clarification, we'll get that to you.
How long is it going to take? Who knows? I think we'll still go strong for another month or two, up to maybe 6 months, winding down.
That was Kirk County Sheriff Larry Letha giving a timeline on how long it could take to find those who are missing. It's one of the updates Kirk County commissioners got this morning about the challenges from the July 4th floods. The sheriff adds hundreds of volunteers have come to help, but not all are registering with officials. This is what the Kirk County judge had to say.
The biggest problem we're having are our unsupervised volunteers. But we don't know where they are. We don't know what they're doing.
Although the unsupervised volunteers are causing frustrations for officials on the ground, it's been clear there's an outpouring of support and people wanting to help find others. This afternoon, we learned a father, stepmother, and their toddler son have been located but did not survive. Their names are Leonardo Romero, Natalia Venzora, and Carlos Romero. They're relatives of Leo Romero Jr. Last week, Myra Arthur met with him as he recovered in a hospital bed in Kerrville. The family's home was swept away. off its foundation on the morning of July 4th. Leo explained his father told him and his stepmom to climb onto the couch while the dad held his toddler high in the air.
How did you get out of the house and how did you survive this?
I remember something hitting me on the head. How I recall it is the roof fell, but just next thing I know, house is gone, so I'm just in the water.
Leo was trapped in debris for 4 hours. He just turned 19 last week and has since been released from the hospital. Since sharing his story, there has been a tremendous amount of help for Leo. If you would like to assist as well, we have a link to do that on our website, KSAT.com. KSAT wants to remember those we lost in the catastrophic flooding. So far, officials are not confirming the identities of those who died, so our team has been gathering as much information as we can about those victims. Often that information comes from family members. You can scan the QR code on your screen to read more about what we learned about those lives lost. The last 10 days have been heartbreaking for so many, but there is help available. There is a crisis support line set up for those impacted by the Hill Country floods. The Texas Flooding Emotional Support Line is available 24/7. The phone number is 833-812-2480. It provides professional counseling for free, and all calls are confidential. Adam, it's been a hectic several weeks for the weather department, and it's not slowing down right now as you're still trying to track exactly rain on the radar as well as the fluctuating Freo River.
Yeah, the Freo River is fluctuating. It looks like it's rising again pretty sharply in spots. We'll get to that in a moment. I want to first start with the downpours. Now, Avery said off in the distance, they had the lightning, and that's closer to Crystal City and Eagle Pass. This is redevelopment of new storms in areas that have already seen a lot of rainfall. I mean, on the order of 10 inches in parts of northern Maverick County. So Quemato, this is headed your way. Eagle Pass is moving through right now. It's basically between Eagle Pass and Crystal City headed northward, and that's going to be making it to Highway 90. Highway 90 basically, let's see, put a time on there. At about 11:40 p.m. Brackettville, you'd get it at 11:40 p.m. as well. So that's pushing northward. That's all we have to talk about right now in terms of active showers. And we're going to see this stuff through the night, mainly west of San Antonio. But here's a good example of kind of how erratic the river has been. At Concan, it crested at 13 feet at 2 p.m., quickly dropped. Then it's quickly been rising again this evening and could get up to 15 feet by midnight. We'll have another look at this and, of course, the hydrograph for near Knippa in just a bit as well.
Adam, thank you. What was supposed to be an ordinary trip to the grocery store turned deadly for one couple. This after a woman's ex spotted the victims in the parking lot. San Antonio police have caught the man accused of the double murder and credit key witnesses for the arrest. Cuffed and in silence, 49-year-old Lorenzo Aleman was walked in front of our cameras. He's facing charges of capital murder in connection to a deadly shooting in an H-E-B parking lot.
He drove into the H-E-B parking lot, saw the couple, shot them in the parking lot, and unfortunately they died at the scene.
The southeast side H-E-B off South New Braunfels turned into a crime scene just before 11 p.m. last night. Police say this was a love triangle where the ex, Aleman, shot and killed his former girlfriend and her new partner before taking off.
Witnesses played a huge role in this. They were able to identify the suspect. They were able to find the license plate of the suspect, and they were able to identify the suspect in a lineup. A true testament to the saying, if you see something, say something. Police said arrest warrants were signed and executed in less than 5 hours due to the community's help. We also want to take this opportunity to remind everyone, if you or someone you know are going through a domestic violence situation, you don't have to suffer in silence. Scan the QR code on your screen for a list of free resources. A human resources manager at Texas A&M San Antonio is out of a job. This after an investigation determined she made potentially more than 200 fraudulent purchases on her university credit card over 16 months. Christina Gomez resigned in lieu of termination earlier this year. The university's probe of her spending has been turned over to its police department. Internal records obtained by KSAT Investigates accuse Gomez of using a forged signature and a co-worker's login credentials to approve her own expense reports.
A large university such as this one here, I'm surprised that they didn't have better checks and balances.
Tuesday on the Nightbeat, we go inside the school's investigation where the case goes from here. Still ahead tonight, want to help out but not sure how? Don't worry, we got plenty of options for you to choose from. And if you're wondering just how these floods started, we got those answers too. We'll show you a bird's eye view. That's coming up in just a few minutes. The Hill Country floods have dominated the news and headlines, and rightfully so. It's destruction on a scale that's hard to comprehend. The FAA has stopped flights of drones and other civilian aircrafts in the affected areas while crews continue their work. This is our newsroom put together something to help us all visualize exactly what happened on July 4th.
The Guadalupe River begins at its headwaters near Hunt. That's where the north and south forks of the river meet. Camp Mystic sits on the south fork of the Guadalupe and is situated in a low spot susceptible to flooding, where the river bends and crosses the road in 3 spots. Shortly after midnight on Friday, July 4th, torrential rain came down in the worst place possible, on top of both the North Fork and the South Fork of the Guadalupe. Approximately 8 to 10 inches of rain fell in a matter of hours, which is estimated to be more water than flows over Niagara Falls in a day. The Guadalupe rose quickly. By 3 a.m., the river rose at Hunt, eventually cresting at 37 feet at 5:10 a.m. The river then rose by more than 20 feet in Kerrville in less than an hour, cresting at 37 feet close to 7 a.m. The surge of water flowed downstream, cresting at center point at 7:30 that morning at 39 feet, bringing destruction to Comfort when it crests at 35 feet at 11 a.m. The Guadalupe bends and winds through Kendall County. This means that the surge of water was able to build, eventually cresting near Amon's Crossing at a whopping 50 feet at 7 p.m. By this point, most people near the river had been evacuated. Eventually, the floodwaters traveled the 80 miles of river, cresting at Spring Branch at 4:45 a.m. and entering Canyon Lake. The reservoir was fortunately only 46% full, able to catch the surge of water without having to release more downstream.
For days, the nonprofit Mercy Chefs has been stationed in Ingram, ready to serve food, comfort, and care to first responders and families who lost everything in last week's floods. But as they tried to make their way into Hunt today, the road was shut down. Mercy Chefs says this is nothing they've seen before as more rain keeps stopping efforts, but in a community already hurting. The wait is hard. Despite the setback, the team stayed nearby, tracking conditions, ready to roll out hot meals as soon as it was deemed safe to do so. They vowed to stay here in Texas no matter how long it takes to help those in need. Now let's talk about some ways that you can help those in need. This Friday, Project Smash is hosting Dance for a Cause, a community-driven event that aims to raise vital funds for those impacted by the floods. This special dance workshop is from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Smash and Dance Fitness Studio on Bandera Road. They're asking for a $10 donation, with all proceeds benefiting the Kirk County Flood Relief Fund. Here at KSAT, we and KPRC, our sister station in Houston, and our parent company, Graham Media Group, along with Gray Media, have united to launch a donation drive called Together for Texas to help flood victims. You can scan the QR code on your screen to donate. So far, thanks to your generosity, the campaign has already raised more than $803,000. And happening tomorrow, our KSAT community partners are holding a Together for Texas phone bank to help with the Kirk County flood relief effort. It's happening from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. All of the funds raised will go directly to the community and to the on-the-ground efforts in flood-affected areas through the Salvation Army. And SA Picks is back this year. This is a KSAT contest where you can nominate top businesses from restaurants to dog groomers to plumbing and air conditioning services, just to name a few. Nominations open this morning and will run until August 1st. We'll announce the finalists for each category on August 19th. Finalist voting will open August 20th and end September 12th. You can vote for each category once a day. Then we'll announce the winners in late September. We have the full list of categories you'll be able to vote on, available right now on KSAT.com. Just search for SA Picks. And taking a look at live cam, we've seen spotty showers here in San Antonio this afternoon, but it seems like we've been tracking storms in our viewing area nearly daily, Adam.
Yeah, and a new batch, of course, west of San Antonio, closer to the Rio Grande, basically between Eagle Pass and Crystal City, and that's marching northward. Now, this is progressive. That's the good thing. It's not going to sit in one spot, and it's going to move in and move out. But it's going to be crossing over areas that picked up upwards of 10 inches of rain earlier today. Now, this is the latest on the radar, and this is all we have out there. Again, making it to Highway 90 around 11:40 p.m. Now, I want to show you how much rain has fallen here. This is what I mean. Where those showers are headed, look at this purple area, even those specks of white on the screen, indicating significant rainfall amounts, upwards of 10 inches in some instances here. So for example, right here, let's look at that 9.2 and even 10.4. And then you get up near Concan and up into Lakey as well. And that's where we had some significant amounts as well, which caused the Freo River to rise. And it is still at flood level, 7.2 to nearly 8-9 inches there just in the watershed of the Freo River. So the Freo River, this blue line here, its watershed starts up in northern Rial County, and everywhere alongside it, we have those purple colors, over 6 inches of rain estimated by Doppler radar. And again, that more developing off to the west as we go through the night. Now, really quickly, I want to get back to the Freo River. And it's been a little erratic today. So this was earlier at 2 p.m., crested at 13 feet, significantly dropped. Then this evening, just a little bit ago, started to quickly rise again. And the latest forecast is a crest around midnight of about 15 feet. And again, that's the Freo River at Concan. Now we can also go to the Freo River at Canepa, or near Canepa, which is where our Avery Everett was live. And it's showing a similar situation where it's rising, kind of cresting right now and dropping a bit and then rising again and having another crest later on tonight and even early tomorrow morning, closer to 4 a.m. So unique situation that we're seeing along the Freo River off to the west. But with all this rainfall and even some more to come, we're seeing those fluctuations. All right, I want to get right to our setup and what we're looking at here. Still some rain-making energy over Texas and even into Mexico, and this is going to be around through the night and into tomorrow as well. So we'll have these downpours, especially west of San Antonio tonight, but we could even get in on some of that action and the hill country as well in the early morning hours. We could get a few dry days here by Wednesday and Thursday because of the upper level high just nosing its way in just enough. But what we're also watching for Thursday night into Friday is this cluster of unorganized storms as that heads westward into the Gulf, and then thereafter potentially over Texas. That brings us our next chance of rain, and notice it has an increased chance now of potentially developing into a tropical cyclone, into tropical depression or tropical storm. Of course, a lot can happen between now and then, so you'll have to check back for updates, but we are monitoring this area in the Gulf for that potential tropical development to become the next system. Again, this stuff changes quickly and rapidly, so check back for updates. Right now, we have that 20% chance on Friday, but we will be fine-tuning the forecast in the days ahead. Tonight, some scattered activity popping up, especially west of town, some of it locally in the morning, then a break for a few days before another chance possible by the end of the work week.
Work continues for the weather department. Thanks for that, Adam. Now, taking a look over at sports, we've already seen some impressive things from the two new young Spurs, and Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. We got another glimpse tonight.
We did, and we also got a glimpse of what Riley Minix can do for the Spurs when it comes to crunch time. The Spurs and the Jazz went down to the wire in overtime, and Dylan Harper's a huge reason why the Spurs went to OT. These highlights are pretty good. And Victor Wembanyama got some great news today, and he's all smiles. Coming up.
Kason Cunningham, drafted as a shortstop. He won the 2025 Gatorade High School Player of the Year award for the state of Texas.
Kason Cunningham was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks in Big Board Sports. After making his summer league debut Saturday, Dylan Harper was back at it again for the Spurs tonight and facing the Utah Jazz. Opening seconds, Harrison Ingram goes bounce pass to Harper for the first hoop of the game, and it's 2-0 Spurs. But the Jazz go on a run after that behind Kyle Filipowski for three, and the Jazz lead 14-2, their largest lead of the first half. A little bit later, the Spurs block a shot, then they're going to break out. Ingram running the floor, plays alley-oop with Carter Bryant. I mean, that was a pretty hoop. Spurs get closer before the end of one. David Jones-Garcia for three, and San Antonio trailed 21-18 after one. Second quarter, Jones-Garcia dancing around before going three again, and the Spurs are back in front, 35-33, but Utah led 41-35 at halftime. All right, jumping right to the end of the fourth now. Tied at 84-all. Jazz inbound the ball to Filipowski. He spins the baseline and scores for 2-point lead with 9 seconds to go. Back at the other end, the inbound pass goes to Harper. He turns, he drives the paint for a lefty layup, tying this at 86 all. We're going to overtime. Tied at 91 with 1.9 seconds left. The inbounds goes to Riley Minix, and he calls game with a fadeaway jumper at the buzzer. Spurs are going crazy. They win 93-91 in overtime, improving to 3-0 in Las Vegas. Spurs big man Victor Wembanyama today announced he's recovered from the blood clot in his right shoulder, per French sports reporter Maxime Oba. After missing the final 36 games of the Spurs season with blood clot issues, Wembanyama has been cleared to resume full contact and practices. Wemby underwent surgery on the deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder back in March, and the Spurs have officially cleared him to return to action. And here's what Wemby had to say, quote, "I'm officially cleared to return. It just happened. I got the green light from the Spurs medical staff just a few hours ago. I'll finally be able to play a bit of basketball again," end quote.
McCullers driving and getting the first bucket of the game for the Knicks.
Wagner High School alum Kevin McCullough had a breakout performance in Las Vegas yesterday, leading the Knicks with 30 points in the Knicks' 94-81 loss to the Celtics. McCullough, who was the only Knick who scored in double figures, was unstoppable in 28 minutes played. He scored a game-high 30 points, shooting 10 for 15 from the field and sinking 9 of 10 free throw attempts. The former KU star added 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 assist, and 6 turnovers. Fans can watch McCullough take the floor again tomorrow against the Brooklyn Nets. San Antonio IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward on Saturday won the Sync 275 at Iowa Speedway, making his 100th series start. O'Ward held off Joseph Newgarden to grab the checkered flag. O'Ward kept Newgarden behind him on restarts with 14 and 9 laps remaining.
This is great. We've been waiting for this one all year. It's crazy. My 50th race was also a win here in Iowa, and that's the only other win I have here. So it's a cool story. Great job by by my Aaron McLaren guys and gals. This Chevy powered machine was I think it's 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3 Chevy podium. So it was about time. I'm super happy. I'm the Chevy guy that gave them their first win this year, and yeah, I mean, Joseph's the master at these races. He rules around here, so I knew that we had to be spot on, and I had to be so precise on the in laps to beat him at his own game. So this is awesome.
O'Ward now has 8 career wins in the IndyCar Series. Kason Cunningham is living out his dream after the break.